We were going to open up now to another round of any questions or comments that you have. Just keeping in mind that the final 15 minutes or so will be really dedicated to looking forward. And we really encourage everyone, we'll be doing a round of the speakers too, to see what they want more of, to share what they want more of and what they want to see improved. How can we continue to iterate and develop this community together with the wider organizations forming part of this circle? So if anyone does have any questions or comments from what they've heard, then do feel free to put your hand up in the participant list and we'll come to you straight away. And otherwise we can take this moment to have a breath and a bit of a stretch too. Great, thanks for modeling, Sinan, that's super. Okay. Thanks for some lovely words for the youth, in the chat. Thank you, Uma. And do you recommend as well? You'll see Laureline shared some information about a youth circle series as well on sustainability. Keshav, maybe possibly just can come to you. As you mentioned, you've been really joining us on the co-creation sessions. You can share, because you did put in the chat, some of the other ones kind of coming up, notably tomorrow as well on the Model UN.
Oh, sure. So in the co-creation session, also let me express gratitude to Sinan for being one of our wonderful facilitators and really helping the group bring out some amazing solutions. So thank you, Sinan. So tomorrow we are actually going to be following up from the Model UN conference that we had put together during the Learning Planet Festival. The theme was the future of education. And again, based on the Future of Education report of UNESCO this year, now we are going to be gathering back some of our representatives from Afghanistan, India, different delegates who had taken part. And we are also having Almas and Karan, who are again our Youth Council members, who were the chairpersons and the co-secretary generals of the Model UN previously, and we were doing UNESCO simulations. So now we are going to be discussing our learning reflections and further how can youth contribute to the future of education. So that's one, and then I'm taking the liberty of disclosing this like a little bit, but then Ed, all of us are also looking at how do we now create a showcase pitching opportunity for the youth the sessions, the results, the projects that Sheen and all the other fellows had developed. How do we take them ahead and possibly get mentorship, different kind of network supports for implementation of these? So we are looking at the International Day of Youth potentially, but just waiting for the Catalyzing Change Week to conclude. But the idea is that there are solutions and there are actions which manifest the solutions in reality and create that impact. So I think one of these interesting opportunities for all of us is now how do we support together the youth empowerment circle at large towards implementation of some of these solutions. So thank you so much, Ed.
Thank you very much, Keshav. And to mention that as well, we, as you may know, the Learning Planet Alliance was co-founded by UNESCO as well. And we are discussing right now with a UNESCO team behind the Futures of Education report around how we can bring youth this year into really global pitch for ideas on transforming education. And we'll be keeping you all in the loop on that, because that was one of the feedbacks, incidentally, from the Model UN, is that this is great. We're providing this moment for collaboration and connection, but we want to know as well that we have spaces to be heard too. And so since then, we've kind of been in conversations on that. And so hopefully we'll be sharing some exciting news on that very soon too. I did get a message as well from Anam, another one of our wonderful youth council members, who had a comment to make. So Anam, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ed. Hello everyone. I was at university and just back to home, so it was. I'm a bit late to join the session, so I am very happy to be here now. And I was listening to the wonderful people, especially Keshav, and I was just remembering. Oh, he was in our mentoring session in the early sessions. I just remember. So yeah, it's been such a blessing part for me to be the part of youth empowerment circle. I was never think about it. I mean, like I never expected about it, but yes, now I'm that confident that I'm talking before 40 plus people, that whoever joined this, and they are belonging to different regions, different topographies, different thoughts, and different, everything we believe we are exchanging now. Especially I have built up the connections with Ed so much that that we can easily contribute to whatever I need help anywhere. So yeah, we have built up those connections, especially in sustainability group. And and moreover, I believe that if such communities started of working in for the youth, we can develop and we can power the youth as well. So moreover, it's been so motivated, it's been so blessing that we are being guided, we are being mentored, we are being that much empowered that we are allowed to do the things that we are wanted to do. So it's one of the biggest opportunity that I received in last my 2021 year. And now I formally call myself a staunch feminist, a staunch women in leadership, that I own my own I really own my social enterprise. And moreover, now you all can uh, and everybody can now can reach me out easily. I'm bit confident rather than my 2021. And I always feel like I cannot be the part of such organizations because I do not deserve, but now I feel like I could be something. So yeah, now I am happiest youth activist and working hardly for my community, especially for the indigenous community, either for the leftist politics, either or something my climate action project. And moreover, the thing that the major and core idea that I'm working on nowadays is thalassemia free planet. So yeah, that's how you can all follow me on Instagram, on my social accounts. I'll be sharing the links. And thank you, Ed, for grooming me to this, and rest of the staff members who believed in me to be part of the youth empowerment circle. And it's been such a blessing for me. And I'm happy to call myself as a global citizen now. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, Anam. That's wonderful. And yeah, we are trying to always find the best ways of connecting the youth, being able to connect as well with the youth fellows, the youth council. So you'll be able to see on the website as well, that has been put into the chat too, the links to see the gallery of all of the youth council and the youth fellows as well. So do not hesitate to check that out. If there are not any questions for now, and feel free to put your hand up if you did have one in mind, we wanted to do just one round, a bit of a popcorn round with the speakers from today, just around thinking more for this year moving forward, what they would like to see more of, what they may like to experience. Just before we do that, I kind of wanted to give you a bit of a picture to go back to my timeline document of some of the things that may be coming up as well moving forward. So we've now got up to May 2022. We're in the phase now of doing a call for the youth fellows, the young individuals, to be part of this community. So I think the link will be put back again into the chat. We would be really grateful if you can share that. Feel free to nominate any youth or share it with your community. The goal is that we can help to build as many bridges between youth and youth organizations as possible. Moving on into the rest of the year. So as mentioned, we've got the UNESCO Transforming Education pre-summit and summit that we'll be sharing some further information about, where there's a real commitment and engagement to bring youth into these consultations. In July, at the end of July, we'll be having an open session where the Youth Council, the working groups on sustainability, rights, health, and education will be sharing some of their advice following their year of collaborating together for the initiative. And we will hopefully as well be able to announce the next wave of the Youth Council starting in September of this year to really take us through the next year and build on the amazing work of our inaugural council from this year. We'll be sharing there as well some of our learnings as a team and with hopefully other organizations that have been such a big part of this in putting together this first council, some outcomes from that too, and we'll be sharing all the information about that very soon as well. Moving into September, with the council handover, we'll also be having the International Day of Peace. And so, as mentioned, we've really been building focus and attention on inner peace for young change makers. So this is going to be something that we'll be building on with Masterpiece and other actors around the International Day of Peace. So again, we'll be sharing some of that information with the community. In November, we'll be coming up to Youth Rights Day, and these are just some of the kind of touch points for the community over the year. So there'll certainly be co-creation sessions there around that day, as well as doing another wave and call for the Youth Fellows community to continue to build it over the course of the year. And then January, as I'm sure you can imagine, there'll be another iteration of the Youth Empowerment Track. It's going to be bigger, better, more collaborative, exciting than ever, building on the success of this year. So again, there'll be lots of events, opportunities to propose collaborative sessions as well that we're hoping to see emerge as well from the circle, with continued opportunities for trainings and co-creation moving into the year as well. So that just gives a bit of a picture of some of the touch points coming up over the course of the year. What I would love to do is feel free to add some of your comments, reactions in the chat. Also raise your hand if you would like to share. We've got about 20 minutes together of this session now moving forward, and we'd like to give this space for a quick round, first from the speakers and then from the community, of what you would like to see more of, improved, new, to come up over the course of this year. Sinan is really kindly taking as well notes in the document in the Jamboard as well. We'll put the link again into their chat too if you want to add anything directly there. But I'd love just to pass first possibly to Victoria, if you're with us, maybe to share, what would be one thing that you would like to see more of in about 30 seconds or so, and then we'll pass on to the next speaker. So over to you.
Hi, so I think what would be most important for me is just to see the collaboration aspect growing and growing. It's already a very great, and I'd even say tight community of different individuals really engaged and collaborating, but maybe if we could extend even more, it would be great.
Super, thank you very much for that. And we're continuing to try to bring on board the networks. Anyone that has any questions around how we're collaborating as well, we'll be putting in the interest form into the chat, as well as my email as well, for you to connect to and ask any questions that you may have. Pass to Raven. What are your kind of thoughts and hopes for this coming year? What do you expect to come up?
Honestly, I'm just so excited about the possible collaborations that can happen between the youth circles and the networks of organizations that you guys have, because there is so much more to do and there is so much more to happen that could really make that positive impact that we're longing for. And I'm so excited to see that.
Thanks for mentioning Raven, and that when you mentioned circles in plural, that's something that we're really trying to explore and improve on, is open up spaces to bring, a few members of the community together, as we have done, for example, with around youth mental health, around youth councils too. We're really trying to build on this a bit better to keep it as fluid and organic as possible. So that's something on a personal level would love to see develop, as well as space for more local interactions has been some feedback from a few different organizations too. So we're exploring as a team how we can best facilitate that and connect people as well on a local level too. I'll pass the floor. Bethany, did you want to share for this year coming up what you're looking to experience maybe more of, to see improved? Go for it.
Yeah, I think it's really struck me just how important connections and community is, and that it both empowers people, but also, is good for people's well-being. And so I would love to see how the learning from this year could be shared more widely, and particularly maybe with a special thought to, young people who maybe don't have as much access to the internet or don't speak French or English, so groups that might be excluded for different reasons, like how can they be reached and included as well?
Thanks so much, Bethany. That's something that's come up particularly in the past couple of weeks as well. I'm just going to fire into the chat a link. It's to an excerpt from our Learning Planet community drop-ins that we have every month. And we invited Anna, another youth fellow, to share there. She is truly incredible, has set up an NGO around tech education and STEM education for girls, particularly in Bangladesh. And it was just so powerful and good that actually we just saved it immediately, her excerpt from this session as an MP4 audio file. And I've just been sharing this quite organically with some organizations that may be interested. Do feel free, if you have 20 minutes, if you're traveling, do take a look at that in the coming weeks, and do let us know what you think. It really is meaningful, and you'll be able to see some of the intergenerational conversation there as well. And that's something we're trying to do a bit better, work out how we can make the most, for instance, of WhatsApp communities, making use of the tools that are used particularly in regions, areas with lower bandwidth as well, and then provide more kind of space to consume and gather information, whether it's through audio or text, knowing that many don't have the capacity to be able to join just synchronously as well throughout the year. So any other suggestions anyone has on that, please do let us know as well. I think we'll pass on to Mia. Mia, do you want to share next what you're maybe looking forward to experience this year as a youth fellow in the wider circle too?
Sure, Ed. So for me, this community and this experience is very empowering. It helped me understand that I could do so much more. And I really look forward to spreading that message to the new youth fellows coming in as well. For people who think that they might not be able to do anything, this reflection is more than enough to show them that we're the same people and we can do so much more together. So I definitely look forward to that kind of empowerment and touching on everything else everybody said, along with that empowerment also. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mia. Great. And we'll pass on to your best friend, Sheen, for your next thoughts.
Thank you, Ed. I think that during the co-creation session that we had during the Earth Day, I feel that was a really good experience for me, because I got to connect with other organizations as well who are partners. And so I feel that this year, of course, I wanted to add that point that we reach out to people who do not have access to technology. Maybe, they do not speak English, because over here in India, we do have that problem. Lots of students don't really speak English, so we can actually teach them, and or we can even give them in Hindi or the regional languages. So of course that is something that could be done. But for me, the other point that I really want to see is that we see collaboration between Learning Planet and other organizations, and we get to interact with those organizations and do more, not just at Learning Planet, but also at other organizations. So sessions like those or activities, all these activities really do help us in also figuring out what, our niche is and what we want to do further. So, yeah.
Super, yeah. And so I think there's this running theme around accessibility and how we can open up the space as well. Yeah, thank you. That's definitely noted as well. Keshav, you want to go next? Yeah, from the youth organization perspective, what are you looking to see more of this coming year?
Although I think Sheen has already sort of made that point very clear, so I think there's a lot of scope of cross collaborations between the youth at our youth empowerment circle and other youth organizations that are and networks which are working. So just that increased interaction, value addition mutually, and translating all of that into real impact, because I think that's what will renew the momentum of the next set of cohorts when they see that certain visions have been realized in reality, and some action has actually happened. So I believe that most of the young people now want to act more than ever. So that's where, and we commit ourselves definitely towards supporting that with the Learning Planet. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Keshav, and to the speakers again for this feedback. Really, really appreciate it. We have 15 minutes left together. I know I've had to go to other Catalyst 2030 sessions as well. But we wanted to just use this final 15 minutes as an open mic kind of session, really just to hear from you, continuing on what you want to see develop, new, improved over this coming year. We'll possibly be nominating a few of the council members that I see here, in case we don't have too many voices too, so do get thinking as well. But yeah, we'll open up the space. If you could just put your hand up, that would be really appreciated. If you have any ideas or suggestions, even if you haven't taken any part of this circle, but have your fresh thoughts or ideas for how this space could be useful in the coming year, then we'd really love to hear them. I'll go back to you first, Sheen.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a point because this is my personal observation that like people of our age in South Asia don't really have the opportunity to kind of go forward and speak our minds. Actually, I was speaking with Mia about this when she was interviewing me for the EGAP interview, and the fact that the policymakers and the older people don't really value our opinions because we are said that you're kids. For all those in India, they say tum to bache ho, okay? So it's just that I feel that there is a need to kind of amplify the voices of these youth and also to kind of inform them more that, okay, this is the problem. I feel that in India, yes, we are living in the urban area, so we do know about this situation. But if you talk about villages and small towns, you will see that no one knows what is really happening. And even if they know, they don't recognize it or they don't agree with it. They will say, no, this is our tradition, this is our culture, right? And I feel that, you know, doing this on the name of tradition and culture is really wrong. You know, and I feel that we really need to mobilize our young people so that when we go on forward to become the policymakers or change makers who are actually working for new policies in our country, we have people who back us up, who are aware of what is happening. So I feel that this is a huge element which most people won't know, but in South Asia, I'm sure if we ask anyone from South Asia that what are your views on the youth and their participation, most of them would say that they do not take part in participating in you know, speaking up, because we are usually condoned to not speak up for these matters. So yeah, I feel that something needs to be done about it. I'm not really sure what, but I just wanted to put it out there. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sheen. And it did remind me, one of my favorite sessions actually from January was hosted around around children parliaments, showing case studies, and they were particularly based in India, but also in Greece, around how local children's parliaments have been implemented, often using methodologies around sociocracy as well. Really grateful that Marie and John from the PCWP are here with us. I'd love if there's an opportunity of one of you, Marie, possibly, if you're able just to share a bit more about that, and then based on that, some of your expectations and hopes for this initiative, particularly around giving the right spaces for young people to join in kind of advisory and decision making in communities.
So thank you, Ed, for giving us the talking stick. It's a pleasure to be here and get to know your youth empowerment circle. So myself and John Burke, we are working with PWCP, which is a provisional World Children's Parliament with children from all over the world, also collaborating around the SDGs and using sociocracy as a method of governance for decision making. So this is something we really would like to exchange with you. And we also have a collaboration session scheduled soon in May. So looking forward to meet you again. And I'll pass to John to check if you have anything to say, John, anything to add?
Yes, I'm looking forward too. I have lots of questions after hearing the session today to understand more what you're doing.
Thanks so
And
much.
delighted that you are doing.
Thank you, really appreciate it. I pass next to Katie as well, who hopefully will be joining that conversation. And Katie was also a headline speaker at the festival as well around our session on co-creating on new narratives for education. So Katie, yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Hi everyone.
Katie, your volume is very low. Possibly it may be your mic. Do you want to try again?
Hello?
There we go. That's good.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I had a problem with my speaker. Hi everyone, I'm Katie. I'm 15-year-old from the US and I'm part of the Youth Empowerment Council. And I've had such a unique experience because being in a different time zone and learning a lot about different cultures, that's been such a great experience for me. But I think something that's so important is, especially as we go into these initiatives, to try and just find like-minded youth members who want the same things as you, because I became a part of the youth rights circle in our council, and it has been so great because I work with 4 great change makers, and we've been working on a project all year and are finally starting to see steps made in this project. And just finding people with the same passion as you is something so empowering, because if you can find a group and narrative of people who are trying to share their stories and make an impact, it'll be so easy. So being a part of the Youth Council has absolutely changed my activism journey, and being just over the past 9 months able to work with Ed, who's been a fantastic mentor for everything we've needed, and across different zones, being able to work with people. It's so important to find your small circle and make sure that whoever you are working with is just as passionate about the change you want to make. So thank you, and it was so great to hear from everyone today.
Thanks so much, Katie, and a particular shout out to the rights group who have surpassed perhaps every time zone challenge possible, going from, I think there's the US, we've got Australia, we've got France, UK, Portugal in between. So if they can do it, then anybody can. And anyone that wants any advice around navigating time zones of a council, Sinan and I would be glad to share some good time converter tools, that's for sure. Thank you for sharing. If there's anybody else in the last few minutes that has a point, something to share, then do speak up. Otherwise, there are a couple of people I'd love to also nominate as well. Mia, yeah, go for it.
Hey guys, while we're here, I think it would be really cool to stress on climate action as well. A lot of us young people are doing everything we can for saving our future, but at the same time, we have this fear that we're not doing enough. Again, I was interviewing Sheen for climate action related things, but in India, particularly where I come from, and from a South Asia Pacific standpoint, global South, we're seeing so many amazing change makers working for climate action. But at the same time, we don't see enough of older people agreeing with us on climate action. And right now with the global North as well, we see the same thing. Lots of older people still disagree with us on this fear of not having a future. So Yeah, collaboration and intergenerational agreement. I guess climate action is also something that's important to be spoken about. I'm just adding that. Thank you.
Thank you, really kind. Raven, over to you.
Building on what Sheen and Mia said about empowerment, I would like to raise the idea of youth empowerment groups having more active voices and taking stands in social issues that concern the world and the minorities, the climate change, the human rights violation, and stuff like that. I think it would be the ultimate application of what we're learning about youth empowerment if we're able to let the world know that, hey, this is what we think, we are a diverse group, and we have unified ourselves to say that this is what we stand for, since stands are stronger when it is done collectively. That's all.
Thank you, yeah, so much. Definitely fully agreed on that. And the circle started by trying to build some intergenerational conversation and dialogue as well. And so we're continuing and trying to do this more and more as we develop as well. Thank you for that. Any other closing comments from those who have joined us in the audience? Something that you'd like to see from this coming year? Okay, I'm going to give you 3 minutes extra to add to your day today. Just before we go, for those that are comfortable and would be okay to turn on their video, if we could just do a quick screenshot to celebrate this moment, that would be really, really appreciated. So yeah, if there are any of those able to turn on their mic, their video, that would be incredible. Super, we have some videos coming up, that's great. Okay, this is good enough to go with. So I'm going to do 3, 2, 1. Amazing. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you, Play. It's been so great to share this space with you today. Exciting to talk about and hear about next steps. We'll be sharing soon after this as well some of the ideas, outcomes from this session today. Thanks so much to Sinan for so diligently taking notes. And particularly to the youth who have been an incredible part so far of this past year, as it grows as well, moving into the year ahead. Really excited for the next steps.